So what do you call yourself? Welcome to the Latangela Show. Hey.
Hey, what can I do for you this fine day?
This is your destiny. Hot, hot, hot.
Right now.
Welcome to the Latangela Show.
Kick it.
Come on in and enjoy yourself.
Right now.
We gon' party like no one else. Welcome to the Latangela Show. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Latangela Show podcast. You know, it does my heart well to have this time together. And today, I just feel like I need to be on my best behavior because somebody has clearly told on me. None other than Dr. Leo Cyrus is in the building. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm holding on.
Keep holding on.
I am. You know, one day at a time. And I just knew something great was in the atmosphere. And I was like, wait a minute. Now, Reverend Cyrus is in here on some official business because every time you see him, he is about his business, making it happen and enhancing the world that we live in, one block, one heart at a time. But, you know, I'm here and I got an announcement. We're not going to let you retire.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm retiring.
Yeah, I know. But congratulations, because
Thank you.
over 51 years in the role of being a pastor, of being a nurturer, and being one who is going to lead in the spirit of excellence, it's been a long time coming.
It has been. It has been.
Since
But it's been a wonderful journey.
it has 1976, New Hope Baptist Church,
Right.
1983, Second Baptist Church.
That's right.
If you had to pick a highlight along that journey of being a pastor, what does that look like for you?
Well, there's so many. So when you said pick one, I guess just being a pastor, really, I love what the Lord called me to do.
Right.
And so that's one thing. And I love preaching, and I love people.
Right.
And so the highlight is just being able to travel and preach. I preached in about 4 or 5 different countries and across the United States. And so that's been my love. That's been the highlight of my journey,
Absolutely.
traveling and preaching.
And while you're traveling these different countries, I know that you see so many things that may vary, but yet you find things that are similar. When you go to these different countries, do you ever see anything that makes you feel as if maybe we're taking so much for granted?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. In the majority of the countries, the poverty is so bad. Look, you give a kid a pencil and you think you've given them a gold watch.
Yeah.
And a tablet. They'll fight for that. And how they live. Yeah. The first time I went down to St. Kitts down the Caribbean, I took some tablets, pencils, and things, for school.
Right.
And I didn't know that these things were so valuable to these kids. And they would just run to get even a bag of chips.
Yeah.
I would take food, stuff like that, which they don't, they're living in such poverty down there. And I often say the kids in our country, they were having made, they were about the tennis shoes that cost $150 or $200. And these kids take these little simple things and they'll be so happy to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah, poverty is everywhere.
Throughout the years, you've seen a lot of changes from the pulpit within the community, the school systems, and even the makeup of the home. Within those changes, what has been one of the biggest hurdles for you to jump while trying to educate those and lead them to the light, to say that the world may be changing, but the word remains the same?
The word remains the same, and the world is changing. Well, the world has changed. I never forget. Just give you an example. I was a member of the school board for 4 years, and I went over to Capitol Middle School just visiting, and they had a young girl who was 12 or 13 years old. She was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And she was cursing the teachers out and cursed the principal out, and so they was trying to get her home. And so I said, well, let me take her home. And I took her home, and when she knocked on the door, her mama opened the door, and the first thing come out of her mama's mouth was one of those words she used.
Oh,
to
wow.
warn people. So I said to them, our problem is not the kids, it's the parents. You know, we don't young people having babies who don't know nothing about parenting, and they're, well, I have to tell you what I used to tell the church: God is nowhere in their hearts. They don't believe in God, and so we having a large number of youngsters out here who are very disrespectful because there's nothing they don't have a environment at home that teaches respect,
Right.
you know, education. And so we've got to find a way to get to that parent, and and turn that parent around, you know, because if not, we're gonna continue going down this same road.
That's true.
Same road.
And the responsibility of the church, it's larger than just being a building.
Oh yes.
We are the church, and
Yes.
very well may be the only version of a Bible that someone picks up to
That's
read
right.
and to live by, or to even use as a measuring stick.
Right.
What do you feel that the church is lacking right now to reach out to the community, to bridge that gap and to have that dialogue?
Well, believe it or not, the church, we do a lot of things in the community, but I think to me, one of the most important things is evangelism. We don't evangelize like we should. You know, we're doing a great job of worshiping and praising God and teaching and preaching inside.
Right,
But that doesn't happen much outside, and that's where the problem is.
right.
We need to go in the communities, and we need to have this talk with these people who do not know God, and try to help what I just said about changing their perspective, their mindset, and to let them know there's a better life, you know.
Yeah.
So we have that responsibility, and we're not doing a good job. We're doing what some people, we're doing some are doing it. But if every church, just think about it, if every church would go out once a week and evangelize, we would be building buildings every year.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
and then we're saving people. We're getting people converted. So that's the thing that I think we are failing in.
And you know, that's really big. You've seen a lot change between your 51-year tenure, even now with social media, with the way that people can communicate. Everybody has this device in their hand, but it also leads everybody to get information so fast from all directions. There's a lot of misinformation.
Yes.
And so if you are not equipped or know the voice of God for yourself, any voice that says something that you want to hear becomes a sound of reinforcement.
Right.
So for those preachers or for those who want to walk in that light of ministry, what advice would you give them to be responsible with their platform and understanding the weight that comes with that?
Well, that's the first thing. You've got to realize that you have a great responsibility. The Lord called you to save souls. Well, not only the preacher, but every Christian. He calls us to save souls and to love one another. And so any man who's been called by God to preach, the first thing you need to do is to study. You know, the Bible says, study to show yourself approved unto God, a workman that need not be ashamed. Rightly dividing the word. That's the first thing you need to go.
Right.
And get a Christian education. We are living in an enlightened society, like you just said. There's so much information everywhere, and people reading this, and they're hearing this from, and so you need to go see what's true and what's false.
Right.
You know, so So preparation, that's the word I want to use. Yeah, preparation. That's the first thing you need to do. But you better be ready, because you're going to run across people out there who don't love the Lord, don't know the Lord, and they will challenge you.
Now, there you go.
So if you're not prepared, you'll be an embarrassment out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it's so easy for people to forget that even those of the cloth are human.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that sometimes we put them on this platform thinking that they are the great I am, and that's very well not the case.
That's right.
So it is a very tough space.
Yes.
So for those who want to be those leaders, to get those nuggets, to be prepared, to get that education, and to withstand that test, it's tough.
Yes.
Because people will challenge you.
Yes. Yes, they will. And like you said, we are human.
Yeah.
We're human, and we make mistakes, and so sometimes they can push you a little further than they should.
Right.
And so yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I applaud you for leading in the spirit of excellence and always paying it forward, all of the community outreach, all of the school visits, all of the evangelism that you've done, all of these even rehabilitation centers and programs. Your work has shown itself to be a staple in our community. And so many people have benefited from the sacrifices that you have made, because answering that call is indeed a sacrifice.
Yes, it is. It is a sacrifice.
It is.
Yes, and there, and that's the main thing. Being able to make that sacrifice, and well, I guess when you look at it, the Lord is depending on me and anyone and all Christians to make a difference where we are.
Right.
Where things are in bad shape, we don't look for the government to make a change. It's the church responsibility to make that change. And so, during my ministry, of every opportunity that I saw, I tried to jump on it to do something different, to make a change in the neighborhood, and then, our city. So that means sacrificing time with your family, sacrificing time, just time to do anything else that everybody else is doing,
Right.
And so it's a sacrifice, but it pays off, because it doesn't pay off in no money or anything like that, but it pays off in knowing that you've done your best, and that God would be pleased with your lifestyle.
I love that. If God had to ask you the question today, would I be pleased with your actions?
Yes,
Oh, questions that need answers.
Yes.
And I know that although you're announcing retirement and we're going to let you go on some good fishing trips, and the fish fry will be at your house by 3:00 every Friday. Every Friday. I want you to think of this as an extension of your office. Your wisdom, we need it. Your leadership, we need it. So whenever you feel like getting in the hot seat on the tan line, you just come on through here. I'm going to have to tell security, hey, look, today he's coming in here in peace. So please let him through.
No, well, since you said, I love fishing, but can you make potato salad?
Absolutely. Can I? Come on now. Absolutely.
You probably can't boil potatoes.
Well, you know what? I got an easy bake oven and a 60-watt bulb. And I want this to be a judgmental free zone. Don't judge me, Reb. Don't judge me now. Pray for me on that, okay?
I'm going to pray for you on that.
Look, I know you have more work to do, so I'm going to let you chase the sun or let the sun chase you.
Yes.
But either way, you get after it. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Well, I love you too, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, that song said, I've been loving you too long, I can't stop now.
That's why I love you. And congratulations on that retirement.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate this.